Hello, my name is Maria and I'm a shoeaholic. Yes, you heard right. We're gonna be talking about shoes. Such an eye candy. How can you resist? Well, let's just get into it. Hello and welcome to Design or Design. My name is Maria and this is a channel where I talk about runway shows, review them, analyze them, and today we're going to be talking about shoes. But I know, right? Oh, so beautiful. I just came from a runway show. I was a model there. So I thought I might as well use all of this to film a video for you guys and be pretty. This show was so incredible. There was a fire next door and everybody was evacuated, but then everybody went in. It was spectacular. If you want to see a little bit maybe behind the scenes or a little footage from the show, you can check it out on my Instagram. I'm still energized from that. Let's head into shoes. So since we're going to be talking about spring summer, let's start with the most, I guess, wearable higher heels, and those are strappy shoes. So we see either super plain shoes with just a single strap at the toes and a single strap around the ankle for support, or maybe something with a little bit more ties that goes around and around and around that ankle, not quite that much up the leg though. We see it in so many shows, and I feel like this is the most wearable and the most, how do I say this? The shoe that will fit most of the aesthetics and can be worn with so many different outfits. And we see them in different colors as well. So you don't really have to have a base that's black and white, you guys. If you like a particular color, you can introduce that into your base, but have multiple of that color to create that base outfit. Anyways, we have more of the crisscrossing as well, but everything is surrounding the ankle area. Yes, we sometimes even see a little bit of caging moments going on in the shoes. So something with thinner straps. I feel like this shoe can be paired with amazing, beautiful gowns, as well as with something a little bit more sporty. Yeah, very functional shoes for sure. And we've seen this in different aesthetics as well. We see it in very flirty, girly outfits, like in Ula Johnson, as well as in more edgy ones like in Mugler, and yes, I love those. So incredible. And the size of the heel and the thickness of the heel also varied. There was even almost a clog version of it with the strappiness. There were stiletto heels, there were chunky heels. So whatever is your comfort level, I prefer to do the chunker heel. First of all, I'm a bigger lady, and if I have very tiny shoes on my legs, they look really odd because with my body just looks so tiny and it's not much of a base there. But if I have a little bit of a platform there, a thicker heel, it gives me a nice solid base to my outfit, and it all works out in the end. So we do have more of also thicker straps, because if it's a cord of some sort going around as well, I quite like that, but maybe it will be for more of a fashionistas. If you have more of a classical aesthetic to you, then I would go for the thinner strap here on. One thing that I would have to say is that they're not always the most comfortable shoes to wear. Make sure to try them out. Walk a little bit maybe in the store if you are interested, or if you're wearing it for the first time, be prepared. Bring some band-aids, or maybe even apply the band-aids in those areas that you think might be triggered, and just go for a walk. Maybe just a walk around in your house in the shoes, just to get your feet used to it. And of course, we do see some flats with the strappiness as well, like an Hermes right here. All right, next one is a T-strap. So having the strap, but just right in the center of it, of the shoe, going up. Don't know how else to explain it. I'm guessing you can see that by yourself on the video. Yeah, these are pretty classical shoes, and I guess it's a continuation of the strappiness because it's just a different way of the shoe functioning. We also see this more in flats, like in Miu Miu show. I don't know if that's my favorite shoe out there, but it's okay. We also see this in Tom Ford, maybe having a decorative pieces on that T-strap. We also seen more like rocks on there as well in a different show. I think it was Ferragamo. We also see it a little bit more chunkier in Zimmerman, having almost like a wedge. I think it's just a thicker heel altogether, and having that T-strap on a thicker level. It almost resembles my children's shoes. Yeah, very nostalgic for me right now. Okay. So the next trend we've seen already in the previous seasons, and it's getting momentum, especially with the previous season's Miu Miu show, and it's a slingback heel. Doesn't matter if it's a kitten heel or it's something on a much taller heel. Too many heels in this sentence. But we do see that naked heel and with a strap just surrounding it, something like not a mule, but having that strap back holding the shoe in place. Personally, I never could find a shoe that would be very comfortable for me like that, but I guess I just need to experiment a little bit more. We usually see these on a pointed toe heel, as I mentioned, whether it's a kitten heel, so a very tiny heel, almost a micro heel, which is one of the trends for sure, or it's more of a taller heel like here in Yves Saint Laurent. Different materials as well, like patent leather and etc. All right, next one up would be metallics. So we do see metallics not only in clothing, which I have covered in the texture report, but we also see it in shoes, just sprinkled about. There's a lot of it on runways. I feel like we are substituting that sparkly trend for shoes and going more into metallics now. There were a few of the shows that had like bedazzled shoes, but mostly there was a preference for metallic, either gold or silver, but a little bit more silver than gold, I have to admit. And another little trick, usually the gold is printed onto the silver, so it's like the first thing to go. So I would go for the silver, honestly. And we see it in variety of different shoe types, maybe mules, maybe high heels, maybe pointed toe or open toe, or even ballet flats. I know that I have a pair of the loafers like that, so I'm definitely going to be taking them out and trying to create some new fun outfits. Erdem had these really humongous bows on them shoes, and I don't know, like, how does that work? We also see those straps again coming back this time around in the metallic foil colors, and here we go, we see a little bit of that sparkly in Loafers show as well as in Moschino, but on a more larger scale. All right, next one up is the grandpa sandal. Okay, so we do see that eclectic grandpa aesthetic coming in pretty hard, and we see so many of these kind of the 60s leather sandals that were so popular. I feel like everybody wore it, especially like back in Russia and USSR. All the men had them, and they would definitely wear them with socks, which was like, ah. But now it's popular, so I guess you can never judge. Here we go. We see a lot of styling them, especially with a longer sock, for sure. We also see them being a little bit more dainty or a little bit more childlike even. So having the straps pretty thick on there. And I don't know if I am going to go for this trend, just because I don't know if I will ever get over the fact that I was judging my dad for wearing them as a child. And you can notice that the platform isn't super thick on most of these, but I feel like with a thicker platform they will still be very cute. Yeah, maybe on a thicker platform I would actually consider them. We also have Todd's having this similar situation, but on a heel. Definitely one of the more summery shoes that would actually be very nice for the occasion. Okay, so next one up, I've categorized it as toes, but okay, bear with me. We see a lot of toes on the runways. So one thing I wanted to point out is the flip-flop era. So we're heading back. Instead of the slides, they're super popular. Now it's that flip-flop toe thing. It's either just like a really regular one, like here we're seeing in Burberry right here, or it's a little bit more interesting. Maybe instead of it being just that, it's just the big toe that is being held there, or it's the other toes, or there's like some kind of a variation of this. Like here in Low Eve, you can see they're a little bit on a thicker side. Dress of a Note and also had a bunch of flats with just the big toe being the anchor point. We also see this in Courageous, more like that strappy shoe. Tory Burch had really cool, almost like toe rings on the shoes that really stand out, and I would consider buying these shoes for sure if I could afford them, of course. And also they had a closed toe version, but still emphasizing that toe ring thing. We also see this in Ferragamo. We also see that a little bit like a pick toe thing, having boots with open toe. I don't understand it, but some of you do, so that's all right. I'm sure that many of you have it in your closets, so make sure to take it out and wear it as it is trending now. So having maybe like a knee boot or even a thigh-high boot and having the toes exposed. Maybe if you get your pedicure all the time, it would be a fantastic way to show it off. But me, I don't have the time or finances to do it, so I'm just gonna be jealous of everybody's toes. Anyways, we see this in so many different shows, but in particularly there was a lot of it in Versace and Undercover and like a boot or two in sprinkled around in different shows. All right, Dion Lee also had that, and Victoria Beckham. A lot. Anyways, Louis Vuitton here, yet another really interesting toe thing. Basically, only the big toe is showing, which is odd. That's an oddball right here. I have no idea how they feel. Wish I lived next to a really luxurious store in order to tell you. But anyways, next way the toes were shown were in these clear plastic shoes. So basically, if you remember, Kim Kardashian was wearing like really tall boots, but not anything to that extent, just maybe PVC kind of plastic holdings on the foot, or maybe the heel is see-through. Of course, the toes are exposed through it. I do like this trend because the see-throughness kind of gives the illusion of you're not wearing shoes and your skin color just continues on, and therefore it gives you an illusion of much longer legs. But there is always a but. If it's a closed toe, then you would get these sweats and the plastic actually starts condensation. It starts collecting condensation on it. So it's not the best look. It looks like your feet are like boiling and like maybe even stinky. But anyways, I would recommend this trend with maybe strappy shoes or open toe shoes. So there would be a little bit more breathability. And they are not always the most comfortable to wear either. All right, the next one, we also see, even if it's closed toe, but we have that emphasis on the toes, like in Schiaparelli's show here, we see them sculpted into the shoes themselves. We've also seen this in a previous season of Balenciaga, so pretty cool. And yeah, those two things are weird. Another way that was shown, like similar to the clear trend, we see netted shoes. So you can see the toes through the net and it's there. Yes, of course, we've seen this in Bottega Veneta where it originated, I think, and also in Stella McCartney and a few other shows. I don't know if I'm gonna go for this personally. Yeah, maybe not my vibe. Mary Jane's. So going back to more like a classical format, we see a lot of them, particularly in a silky, we've seen quite a lot of shoes in that silky material as well. The silky material is quite fragile, and just consider your lifestyle and how well you take care of your shoes and if they have any crystals on them, because they will catch anything. All right, let's talk about mule shoes. So this is basically like maybe even slides or the mule shoes. So once again, we have an exposed heel, and yeah, so many of these, either closed toe, almost like a booty, or an open toe mule. So much to choose from. Once again, we have a variety of heights on the heel. We even sometimes have some volume on there due to maybe a fringe of some sort or maybe fuzziness, but we'll get to that in a little bit later. Givenchy had these really interesting mules, partially with like plastic. I feel like they were trying to do the archival remake of some sort. We also see them being a little bit more strappy, just combining the trends together. And once again, variety of colors, and depending on like the thickness of those straps, it could potentially lengthen your leg if the straps are pretty thin, or maybe if it's a V-neck, not V-neck, a V cleavage on the shoe. Does that even make sense? That will keep the eye going down to the toes. But if you do have more of a thicker base to it, it might shorten you up a little bit, but like if you're tall, you're okay. And you can still have flats with this, and you can have heels in this. We're seeing it even in more of a silky material here in Prada, almost like little slippers. Valentino had them in pointy toe, no heels. Yeah, I generally don't like to wear these kind of shoes just because I tend to lose them when I walk. I don't know if it's a me problem or the shoe problem, unless they're flats. Yeah, I'm okay with those. But if it's a heel, oh boy, it's gonna go flying. And of course, we do see more of like super flat kind of shoes, basically like slides. Not too many. I think the preference was that flip-flop thing, but still, we also see more of them on heels, of course. I feel like these are really excellent for the summer, and yeah, I'm excited to be wearing them because, let's face it, it's just like wearing slippers but outside, unless it's heels. Yeah, my advice to you is just pick whichever is your favorite color and maybe something neutral. And just, yeah, go wild. And of course, if it is a closed toe, you can definitely take it into fall, winter season. Or if you're like me and you don't have the time to do your pedicure or the finances, just buy shoes. Toenails will grow out, but shoes will stay there. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit more classy with your toes covered. But that might be just my opinion. Okay, next one up are platforms. Yes, we still see those chunky, huge platform shoes. I quite like it, but I don't know if I like the Gucci interpretation of the loafer fold. I feel like that's way too tall. Maybe that's what they were going for, to make an impact in the shoes. Like all that I'm looking at are the shoes. I'm like, I don't care about the outfit. Yeah, maybe that is the point. We also see them in Peter Doe, but the platform is becoming smaller to the ground. I feel like those are the most dangerous shoes to wear, honestly, because you can roll your ankles so easily. I would recommend going for a platform that actually goes like a pyramid, basically. So the base of it touching the floor is the thickest part, because it's dangerous wearing these platforms. I'm like looking at models, they're professional walkers, okay? And they're having difficulty walking in some of these platform shoes. Yeah, especially think about like, where do you live? Or do you need to walk somewhere where the ground isn't even? Even some cities have like uneven ground. For instance, like brick roads or something. In Italy, Vivienne Westwood, of course they're gonna have neck breaking platform that's so dangerous for everybody, not just the model. Can you imagine them falling and like hitting somebody with that platform? That's like a lawsuit waiting to happen. We also see it, of course, in a more wearable manner, like with these in undercover, having once again straps. Maybe even bows were pretty big, but I don't know if they're continuing on as strong anymore. Okay, let's talk about loafers. One of the most classy shoes for both men and women. It is what it is. I feel like everybody should have a loafer in their closet. It's more like a professional but yet casual item to have. Once again, we've seen them paired with maybe like a taller white sock, or maybe like with tight, or maybe without any socks at all. I do like to pair it with the socks. I feel like I am trying to blend into the alpha generation. Oh my god, yeah. I belong here. And we also seen them more of a moccasin kind of a feel in Miu Miu. So, and Miu Miu is pretty big. Yeah, keep your eye out for those. Maybe they'll be big. Anything Miu Miu does is flying off the shelves now. We also seen these loafers on a heel, like in Versace. I know for sure there was more shows, maybe Bottega Veneta, but don't quote me on that. Yes, we see them a lot. Burberry, here we go. Definitely had them for Burberry. Yeah, I would, if you wanted a high heel in that, go ahead. If you wanted flat, you know, go ahead as well. I feel like this is a very classical shoe that will last you quite a lot. Just think about your style. Think about the platform as well. Is it a thicker platform? Is it a thinner platform? Maybe the thick platform will go out of style, but if you are bigger, having a thicker platform for you will not have that big of an impact just because it will look very natural on you. But if you did get it to bring the contrast of you being very tiny and feminine and having a chunky shoe, that styling might pass. Here we see J.W. Anderson having more like a knitted loafer slipper thing. I'm not sure what that is, but here it is. Maybe we're going away from clogs and into, oh no, here we go. There's a clog. Never mind. I never thought like clogs as shoes to be worn. I do like Crocs though. Yes, they're pretty fun. Anyways, Dior also had a bunch of loafers in that tweed fabric. I wonder how they would last you. Are they gonna unravel? Because shoes are, I guess, the most beat up items in our closet. They touch the ground. They always hit things. Boss as well had some high heel versions of a loafer, and we're here for it. Yeah. All right, let's move on to some very tall boots, and we're looking at the thigh highs. Okay, I'm not sure who in the world is going to be wearing thigh high boots during the summer. Maybe somebody from colder areas, or maybe somebody from the, let's see, this is southern hemisphere who are experiencing winter at this time. It's still called summer, but it's colder, you know what I mean? Anyways, so thigh-high boots, I love them myself. We see them being a little bit more voluminous, so they're not quite tight around the leg. Like here also in Bulga, are those pants? Are those not? But okay, never mind. We do see some of the tighter ones, like here in Dolce & Gabbana, and they had them on flat shoes. So not sure how they're holding up, honestly, but like for me, that length and that, you know, they might create rolls there. Anyways, I prefer to wear it if it's a thigh high, maybe layered, so it's going underneath the skirt and you can't see the edge, just because I have thicker thighs, and adding more attention to there will just highlight the thickness of them. So I do prefer to have a longer skirt, a longer layer on top of those. But I guess if you do have amazing, beautiful legs, or maybe a skinnier leg, or you just don't care about bringing attention to your thigh area, then you'll go ahead. Yeah, it's up to you. I'm just suggesting some things for people who are a little bit skeptical about trying it. But if you know your body, if you know that you love that style and you don't care, that's fine too. Honestly, true experimentation brings you to your personal style. And sometimes you can pair things that don't go together at all and create something breathtaking and very memorable. Yeah, I'm just here to guide you, but making mistakes is also fun. Anyways, so we see some of these even looking as if they're full pants and there's no interruption between them. Like in Diesel, Dion Lee had some really tall ones with even like pockets. They look like, what are those handyman belts, but like around the thighs. I wouldn't put anything in them just because they're gonna be weighing it down, but it's an interesting look for sure. Here is an example of what I was talking about. So having the boot going up, up, and up, 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 and then the skirt being over it. Anyways, let's move on to knee-high boots. Yeah, they're here. Knee-high boots or knee-length skirts are usually the most flattering, as the knee tends to be a skinnier part of the leg on everybody. So if you like it, continue wearing it if you have any. We have them in a variety of styles, some pointy toes, maybe a little bit closer to the leg, and we also have something a little bit wider like in Chanel here. If you want to have your leg looking a little more slender, then I encourage you to find something that is quite tight around your ankle. The ankles are also the most slender part of the legs, so if you have that showing, then you would look a little bit more slender. Anyways, once again, we have them a variety of colors, and I love the patent leather like we're seeing here right now. I don't know, just really cool. We do see more of masculine chunkier shoes for men for sure. So if you're a lady and you like that kind of style, keep on wearing it. I know that I love it. We also see this more on a pastel-like colors in Versace. Yeah, once again, D squared, more on the chunkier side, nothing crazy. The styling of them was having either even pants going into them or having a skirt just above it or even layered as well. Hopefully you'll get inspired by looking at the runways and maybe find a new way of styling things that you already have in your closet. At least that is my favorite thing to do. Let's talk about the comfy shoes. Yeah, why won't we? Okay, I know that we're looking at Balenciaga crazy enormous shoes. Yeah, so they are the ones that kind of started that ugly dad sneaker trend. So I can see why they're trying to continue with it. But in the grander scheme of things, we are going for smaller, more classy sneaker. Sure, there are a few sneakers that resemble maybe like a hiker shoe, but they are much smaller. The platform isn't as thick, and yeah, it just looks very natural and more like a tennis shoe rather than a crazy enormous shoe. Yeah, we see this in Gucci. We also see this in Miu Miu. We have so many examples of this. Louis Vuitton even had more of like bowling shoes. That's what I get from this thing. We also see this in Peter Doe, and even pairing with dresses and skirts. Valentino had a bunch of these, just a light, simple sneaker with a beautiful dress. Dress Van Noten also having maybe even a little bit of a retro kind of shoe showing here, paired with a little bit of a taller sock. We have D squared having more of a, is that a wrestler or a boxer sneaker? Stella McCartney also having for that medium to smaller sports shoe. Maison Margiela also. Anyways, Fringe. Okay, so I know that we've seen a lot of fuss on the runways when it comes to shoes or bags or whatever, but this time around we see a very limited fuzziness on the runways. It's almost as if the fuzziness was completely substituted by Fringe. Yes, you've heard me correctly. Fuzziness is last season now. It's not like you can't wear it anymore. You can, and I'm going to. I have some UGG slippers that I am intending on wearing throughout the summer. But if you want to buy something new, then go for Fringe. We see this Fringe all over the runways. Gucci for sure, very sparkly. Mugler had such crazy interesting looks. Are they wearable in everyday life? No. But are they gorgeous? Yes. And I'm worried, do they cut you when you walk? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so another Mugler thing. The whole thing is fringe, but the shoes are also fringy. Roberto Cavalli here, you can barely see the fringe, but it's there. It's really interesting, and I like how do they walk? And you know when you're like shoes untie and then you can trip if you know, step on it. So might be very dangerous. So maybe go for a smaller fringe instead of that crazy impact fringe. But anyways, here we have a little bit of ruffle on there. So once again, a little bit variation of that voluminous shoe. But yeah, let's head into the florals. Okay, so florals have been with us for 2 seasons, but very, very strong seasons. And are they going out? Usually whenever something just dives in, it really quickly goes away just because everybody has it, everybody's seen it so much, it becomes boring. And yeah, but I feel like everything has gone like in the accessory format, maybe like no more chokers with the floral, or no more floral earrings, but shoes are still okay in my opinion. So what you can do with that choker, just spin it around your foot, right? Bring it a new life. Or actually there's a lot of hair accessories with florals, like in Copenhagen they had a lot of very massive hair accessories, and why not put a flower in there, right? Another, I went off of it and we're going into more like bows on the shoes because it's, for me, for my brain, it's close to florals, honestly. But anyways, we have pretty massive bows. I know that we also had that bow craze and it's still continuing, but not to the same extent. Maybe the bows would be a little bit more upscaled and a little bit more edgy. Maybe it's just like a one thing here. I think you know what I'm talking about here. A little bit more high fashion, I guess. But still, Vivienne Westwood has the bows, so I guess if that is your aesthetic, if you like it, go ahead and wear it. And these bows can be added onto shoes so easily. No hot glue though, it will destroy your shoe. Okay, ballerina flats. Whew, I don't know how I feel about this, just because I lived through that era where we had ballet flats and everybody wore ballet flats, and I'm just like not happy with it because they're so uncomfortable. They're so uncomfortable. Anyways, okay, if you love them, just ignore my little rant here, but we have so many really similar looking to ballet flats. They don't have to be like exactly like a ballet flat, but basically what I'm talking about is it's a rounded toe and the heel is covered, and sometimes even it has some Mary Jane strap across it. Maybe not. I guess depending on how you style it, it might actually look pretty good, but like for me, I just really don't like it. Maybe I will change my mind like I usually do after seeing a lot of examples of outfits and being bombarded with all the stylings on social media. Okay, the next one is like a little micro trend, like really floppy, crinkly shoes, boots usually. Either they're like leather and they're just so floppy, they're flopping all over the place, or like here in Dion Lee, we have them actually like material balloon things. Oh, balloons, that will happen next season. But yes, I am a little bit behind on doing this, okay? Y Project had these amazing shoes. This is the second or third season? Second season they're doing it. It's basically, they have a really simple shoe underneath, but then they have these flaps of leather that you can attach differently to the shoe on top of it via clips. Really cool idea. I would definitely buy them if I could afford them. All right, next one up, I just wanted to share the tendency of the, is it pointy toe or is it square toe? Okay, most of the runway was pointed toe for sure. And I love the pointed toe for many reasons, especially it gives you a way longer silhouette. Your legs look so phenomenal long. But sometimes you're like, I don't want my legs to look longer. I have very large foot size, like why would I want to add more inches? I don't think it gives you that big of a difference when it comes to you know, your foot becoming larger, but it just gives like a really beautiful silhouette. Like for instance, Paris Hilton, she has a huge shoe size, but she would always wear pointed toe heels, just because it gives the illusion of super long legs. We also see this on men as well in men's shows, like in Yves Saint Laurent, having a little bit of a heeled boot with a pointed toe. We also saw it, I think, in Balenciaga as well on men. Yeah, here we go. This is really weird shoe here. But it is very classic shoe and so super easy to style with anything. And I don't feel like it has a particular era attached to it. I guess that's what makes it classical, that it's, if you buy a pair, you can wear it anytime. Is it like super hot and trendy? I guess it's not, but the tendency is that I think we're coming back to a pointed toe. So if you were thinking about buying a pair, then yeah, pointed toe would be a good decision to buy. Yes. But if you absolutely love square toe shoes and you're like, no, it's my passion, then go for something closed toe. Probably all of us have an open toe, squared toe shoe. But on the runways, there weren't too many of those. In particular, there were more of those duck-looking shoes like we're seeing right now in Balmain. Am I judgy? Maybe a little bit. I really didn't like them before, but that ended up getting myself so many open toe shoes. But I don't think I will go for the closed toe because it just looks like a duck walking, okay? Anyways, we do see it for men as well, or maybe like more of a office look shoes. Once again, closed toe. Yeah, I feel like these Prada slides are okay. But yeah, I still don't like them. But of course, this is only my opinion. If you like it, you wear it. If it makes you happy, go for it. But it's just, I'm seeing much less of the squared open toe and a little bit more of them being closed toe, square toe shoes. Now that definitely makes your foot look way longer and not in the better way. Prove me wrong in the comments. Okay, and finally, I wanted to mention the styling of the shoes. And they were styled with so many socks. Whether they're like patterned socks with little flowers on them, or they're actually just like simple white socks. Maybe like a knee-high sock even. And Givenchy even had the socks being put over the shoes. I think that's what it is, or maybe it's the shoe itself. So it has this kind of a wedge illusion, but it's still see-through. We also see it pairing of the same sock color as the shoe as well. Victoria Beckham also have these knee-high socks paired with different shoes, and I guess it's a comfortable thing. I used to hate this, but now I actually don't mind it. In particular, I really liked how Dress Van Noten had paired their socks with their shoes. Sometimes it was even like a pattern clash to them being paired together. Definitely eye-capturing, and I love it. I guess this trend will definitely make it a little bit more comfy to be wearing high heels and even protect your feet from some kind of tearing and rubbing. I feel like this trend makes your outfit look a little bit younger. I just instantly think about elementary school. Oh boy, this video has went through. My phone ran out of storage and then it died. This completes the video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you staying to the end. I am very excited for the new season that I will try to get on as fast as I can. I first need to finish up doing the reviews for the spring summer. Come on, I'm just a human. If you want to see my channel stay on the platform and me continuing on with these, please, please, please help me out by simply liking this video, maybe leaving me a nice little comment, or maybe like not so nice if you have some really good critiques for me, you know. If you're not already, please do subscribe because it does definitely make a difference. And other than that, make sure to check out my Instagram page and say hello to me there. I love seeing you guys. I love seeing your style. Sometimes I'm blown away by who's watching me. Yes, catch up on that fashion drama that happened today. I'm like super exhausted. Hopefully you can't really tell that through the camera though. I really appreciate you. And yeah, stay classy. Bye.